Hi, welcome to Brain Talk Tuesday. Dr. Danielle here from San Diego, California, doctor of psychology, licensed clinical social worker, and I love to talk about how essential oils can help the brain. And actually, now that I have learned the research behind essential oils, I don't understand how we can even manage our emotions without it. And if you think about it, we've been managing our emotions probably for the centuries with essential oils because they are what's found in nature. These are natural aromatic compounds found in nature. And many, many times we hear people that, oh, I need to just go take a hike or go somewhere like to be in nature. Those aromatic scents are very calming. And so when we talk about, be prepared and you shall not fear, that's what I titled it today, is how do we be prepared with essential oils that help to mitigate the fear response in our mind. When we're in fear and stress, it causes like a myriad of chemicals that causes a lot of fog. Let's just call it fog, right? Emotional fog, maybe it is. Maybe it's even brain fog that you just can't see clear, you can't think clear, you maybe reactionary. All of those things are when we are in fear, our brain produces chemicals, a physiological response that causes a very strong fog that makes it hard. How many of you guys have ever been so stressed out when you're leaving the house and you go to leave and you forget your keys, you forget your child, you forget all sorts of things, right? You forget the gift you were going to give somebody. That is what stress does. It just makes a chaotic environment. So today we're going to talk a little bit about how to eliminate fear, how to get out of that fear space by using essential oils to go back in and choose a space of hope, a space of gratitude, and a space of just calmness. And that's what the oils can actually do in the body. So before I dive into a lot of that, I want to say hello to the audience that's joining me live. I do these every week on Facebook, and I love to repost these on YouTube and other things as well. So whoever is on live or recorded, please type in, say hello, tell me where you're joining from. And what I want you to tell me as well, we're going to do a really interactive today. So as I'm recording this, July 2020, what's going on for you that is creating fear in your life? There's a lot. And I would say I almost wanted to cancel doing the brain talk today because I have a lot going on. And I just said, I'm just going to go live. I'm going to be upfront and honest with you guys of where I'm at. I've got a lot on my mind, and I have been using my essential oils. I've got them all right here, a lot today because I have needed it. So, yes, hello everybody. So tell me what's going on fear-wise for you, and I'll tell you what's going on for me. So I live in California. There's a lot going on here, and it's very unnerving. The fear for me is I don't know. There's so many unknowns. It's like my life as I have known it is now a complete uncertainty going into the future. And I know that sounds like woo, but it feels that way. And so with that, I've had to deal with a lot of loss, and it's small losses. I'm not saying like death of a family member, which I'm very grateful to not have dealt with that, which I know some of you probably have. And my heart goes out to you during this time, and you probably haven't even been able to have a proper funeral. There's a lot of uncertainty, and uncertainty of not even just the virus, but also I feel like there's so many contradictory information about it. And so I just feel like we're in this whole chaos of uncertainty. And so we need to have a way that our brains cannot be caught off guard with this uncertainty and spiral into fear. And I've had to really keep myself in check. So one of the major things I'm dealing with right now, which is a good thing and a good blessing. But I have been in a condo by the beach here in San Diego for a long time. And I have wanted to sell. And then with all of this, I was like, oh my gosh, now I don't know. Am I going to lose my, $500,000 investment here at the beach in San Diego? And that's a lot of money, but it's also a lot I can take and go start something else for my life. And that was a big uncertainty. And so I want to use this as an example. And yeah, so I see a lot of fears. I want to hold on a second, kind of look at what you guys Oh, you blew your knee out, an MRI. Yeah, just being immobile. Oh, you guys, yeah, there's just so much. And it's a little bit different, going to deal with your healthcare concerns. You're annoyed. I see that. And you can't see your grandchildren as much, probably. And loss of your little dog. Oh, Claire, I'm so sorry. Um, Escalating. Yeah, there's just so much. The new norm. Yeah, it is bizarre. And every time I go to a grocery store, I feel this like loss that I can't see my humans because we have a mask on. And I'm not saying anything about like yes or no on a mask. I'm just saying there's loss, there's change. And how do we shift with this? How do we adjust when our life as we've known it for our entire existence has completely taken a turn? Does that mean it might go back? I don't know. I can't tell you guys. I just know it feels uncertain. And so I've had to really rely on essential oils and on hope. And we're going to talk a lot about that. People losing their homes and losing their jobs. I'm very sad about all of that too. And so I want you guys to see that these are real uncertainties and real fears coming up, right? What in the world do we do with this when we can't control? And I always come back to, thank goodness I read this book a long time ago, and I highly recommend you get it right now. Dr. Viktor Frankl, and it's called Man's Search for Meaning. And it's his existence in a concentration camp and how he lost everything. I'm not saying that's where we're going, you guys, by all means. But I'm just saying he, as a psychotherapist and a psychiatrist, analyzed what happened mentally when they were stripped of everything that they'd ever known, their safety in the world, and even their hair, even their clothes. They had nothing. He went into the concentration camp with a manuscript that he had spent, this is like my doctoral dissertation, but he had spent years, his entire career, on writing this manuscript for himself. And he thought, oh, I'll just hide it. And he tried to hide it when he went in the line for the concentration camp. And as he went in the line, he thought, because again, they were under the pretext they were going to do something else. They didn't know they were at this moment being imprisoned and gassed and all that kind of stuff. So he was thinking he could still bring it in, and he tried to hide it, and they stripped him of the clothes and his hair. He was left with nothing and had to rewrite that entire manuscript. So what I love about his book is his normal was stripped from him. And what he realized is that the only control we have, that no one can take from you, not even Nazis in a Jewish concentration camp, they cannot take your ability to choose. And that ability to choose hope. And that's what I want you to understand. That is what the power that you have with all of these uncertainties. And also the division. I think that's a big loss for me, is seeing the divide in so many ways. And the divide is caused by anger for opinions and anger for things that may not really have been there. And it's a way to project what we're feeling. So let's deal with your anger and not project it onto things that divide people. I feel really strongly about that, because we all have dealt with emotion. We have emotions going on, and if we project it onto something that divides humanity, that does not resolve your anger. So how do we come back to, we have a lot of fear. Let's deal with the fear inside. Use those essential oils, which I'm going to show you. And when you can clear the fog, clear the anger, the reactions, it's okay to have those. They're normal. You're human. But manage them. Don't project them. Anytime I start projecting blame about somebody doing something to me, I realize that emotion is about me, and that I am not taking responsibility for an emotion. And so then I say, okay, this person's choice may affect me, but I'm choosing to be angry. So what am I angry about? Okay, I'm feeling lost. And if you look at it, it's generally a sense of uncertainty, loss, fear, not really about the people. And I know that there's a lot going on with, certain governments, like mine here in California, and we just got shut down again yesterday. And that created a lot of emotions. In fact, it was hard for me to work yesterday. I was like So I ended up calling a friend and had to really process instead of just being and posting on the internet and being angry at this side or this side. I took responsibility. And I don't always, I'm working on it, but I want you guys to understand that we have to take responsibility for our emotions. We have to realize we're choosing to feel them. That Gavin Newsom, my governor here in California, isn't choosing to make me feel that way. I may not agree with the decision, or maybe I agree, but I don't like it. Doesn't matter. I am choosing to feel the way I feel. So once we can manage our emotion, that's how we process with someone, feel it, and use your essential oils to get to a clear head. Get your head clear. Choose hope. That's what's going to create change. That's what's going to build your immune system too. And that is what is going to create unity. Unity for us as a people. We have to take care of our own emotions if you want to create unity. So I'm loving seeing, thank you, Patricia, for typing in some of the things, and Julie, that I'm saying, because you guys know I love my scribes here. I really appreciate that. I think it helps us to learn. So as you guys are dealing with all of these losses, I'm seeing my heart goes out to you, my prayers go out to you. And it's okay to feel fear, it's okay to feel loss, but it's what we do with it that matters. We cannot choose the consequences. If I choose to be angry and hurt someone because of it, great, that's how I wanted to deal with it. But then I don't get to choose the consequence. I create divide. I spread more anger. And so that is where, find a safe place. Where is your safe space and person that you can express and take responsibility? I have a couple of friends, about 3 main friends that I go to, and I say, "Ooh, I just want to process," and I just angry, and I write down, "Oh, this, I felt betrayed. I felt, I write all this stuff down." And then I go, okay, I look at all the emotions. Wow, what's all this about? Really, it was about loss on this one situation for me. I was like, it was about loss. Okay. I felt loss. I can acknowledge that. I chose to feel loss. I'm a human experiencing loss, or whatever else the emotion is. Just acknowledge I'm a human experiencing those emotions. It's beautiful. Now what? What else is possible? So for me, I give those emotions a space, and then I give them to the universe, to whoever, maybe it's God for you, maybe it's the Savior for you, whatever it is, I give them to a energetic field of love, right? That might be whatever it is for you, but that's what I do. I give it to this field of love that can actually take care of that negative energy and not let me spew it into another way. And then I go, okay, what do I choose to feel? I choose to feel love for this situation, for this person. What am I gaining from this? How have I been blessed? And so I'm kind of going on a big tangent, but I'm really enjoying this topic and loving that I can speak to you guys about this. And I hope it's resonating for you. In fact, please tell me what is resonating for you, and maybe what you're doing to manage all of the uncertainty emotions that it's created in me. I've had a hard time focusing. I've been working on finishing my brain courses, and I sit down to try to do it, and I'm just like, whoa, I'm all over the place. And so I haven't finished. I've got only a little bit left though. They're almost done. So my head is, I'm working on getting clear. So here's some of the essential oils that I use. So let's start there. Adaptive. I want to talk about adaptive. Why do you think this essential oil is so crucial right now with everything we're going through? The name tells you it helps you adapt. It helps calm that stress cycle in the body that creates stress chemicals that cause a physiological arousal. Okay, so this adaptive, you've got one that's an oil that you can put in a diffuser, and you've got one that's a roller that you can roll on, like pulse points on the neck right here. Roll it on your wrist. We have to take responsibility. You're not justified in blaming. Blame and victimization are 2 of the most destructive things you could experience, or not experience, it's okay to experience them, but project. We have to be, and if I, like I said, find a safe space to experience those, but then don't stay in them long. Blame and victimization. And I'm going to give you two more: shame, or not, shame and guilt. So those are four that are like highly, highly damaging for you. Not, and for other people, of course, because obviously. So get out of those, process them. It's normal to feel them. I've felt those emotions: guilt, shame, blame, and I keep forgetting the other one for some reason. Someone write it in for me, please. Guilt, shame, blame, and victimization. So if you can write those down, that'll help my brain too. So as you can see, we have those four emotions that as you're feeling them, know that it's about you, and know that you're experiencing a human emotion, which is awesome. But what you do with that human emotion, you cannot choose the consequence. And that's what I want you to remember. So when I start experiencing those emotions, I write out what I'm experiencing. I write out what I'm feeling. I talk to a safe friend that's not going to judge me or someone else I may be talking about, if that's what it is. And I also use an essential oil to kind of help my physiological response from the reaction calm down so that I can go back to choosing hope. So again, adaptive pulse points on our occipital point on the neck, pulse points on the wrist so you can inhale it, and then on the bottom of the big toe. Keep this in your pocket. It is time to adapt. It is time to hope higher. Okay? It's time to really let go of a lot of those things that tie us to the world and experience the losses of them if we have to. And I don't mean like your friends and your social. That's not what I mean. I mean things like, okay, this is funny, but I had just bought the cutest pair of black and red flats right when this all hit, and they're in my closet. And I'm like, oh, I never got to wear them, and I spent a lot of money on those. And I love flats. I love my cute. And so like that, like, it's a small loss, but it's a loss. Acknowledge it. And then get over it, right? Get over the cute shoes, and they just been sitting in my closet because now all I wear are tennis shoes. So those types of things that we're feeling lost for that are minuscule, feel them, allow them the space, and then release it. That's what's beautiful. So adapt to a higher way of being. So keep this in your pocket. Keep adaptive with you. And then what I would suggest in the evening is using peace. Do we not need some peace of mind right now? Yeah, big time. So this is really important. You can diffuse peace at night and then use peace on your pulse points and stuff like that. Someone asked how many drops of adaptive to dilute in a roller bottle. I'm not really sure. I would probably do 25 at least, and then do fractionated coconut oil in a 10 milliliter roll-up bottle. Thank you, Julie, for responding. I appreciate that. So the peace and the adaptive are kind of the two that I'm heavily leaning on today as we're processing this. So let me go back to the uncertainties. So, well, let's go back to hope first. So we have the fear. We deal with it. Like I said, we've been talking about how to manage that. Then we go into hope. I calm myself down and I go, what can I hope for? Okay, a hope-based brain, and that's if you read Dr. Viktor Frankl's book. Hope, he didn't know if his wife was alive or not. They got split, and actually she was taken to a gas chamber, but he didn't know. He had no idea, and he didn't hope because he couldn't control if she was alive or not. But he had hope in their relationship. Gosh, this makes me want to cry thinking about it. He had hope in their relationship, and as he was doing manual labor in the freezing cold with like shoes that were torn open, he said he would just imagine hopeful conversations with her, and that would just help him. Like he would just imagine he was sitting there talking to her, and he would talk to her in his mind, and it would get him through this horrible day. So can you guys see that our hopes aren't going to be about a cute outfit anymore or a cute whatever it is. It's going to be a higher level. So when we have a hope-based brain, what it does is research has found that, read my little notes here, hope-based brain protects you from stress and anxiety, and it improves positive thinking and mood. Do we not need that right now? You guys know I've talked about hope-based brain for a really long time. And Christine says she likes the hope oil. Me too. It's incredible. So going with hope. There's a lot of things going on in this world that are really concerning to me, especially with the sex trafficking that's been increasing since all of this. And in fact, one night I was so upset about it all. I was just like, oh, what can I do? These poor like babies, like my heart was so heavy. And I just had to turn over to hope. And I like was in my bed, I was laying down and I just said a prayer and I just says, you know what? God, universe, I you show me what I can do, and I'm going to give the rest of the worry and the fear about it to you because I can't control all of that. Viktor Frankl couldn't control if his wife was alive or not. And so you give that hope to a higher energy, whatever that word is for you. And you just say, I give that to you, and I trust that you will give me what I can do and how I can show up. Because sometimes what we try to do is we think, well, there's a whole Thanksgiving feast here and I'm by myself, so that means I have to eat it all. And it's overwhelming. You don't have to eat it all. And you just say, okay, I don't know what to do with it. And then you're going to be inner guidance when you're not in a fear-based state, in a hope-based state. You can get inner guidance is going to say, hey, take a little bit of turkey to this person. You're going to get guided on what to do with those things. That's why a hope-based brain is so important. When we're in fear, we're not being guided. We're being spiraled down. So we have to maintain, and that's life, right? Figuring out, oh, yesterday I went into that fear-based brain again. So how do I get myself back? Use my, sorry, drop my oil. Use my oils and go, okay, I give to higher energy this issue going on, and you tell me what I can do. And that's how we show up. So that's the main part of the story. And I'm just going to share one where I started earlier is like, I was uncertain about selling my condo. Like, when am I going to do this? How? All this kind of stuff. And now that it's, I don't want to lose my investment, it's kind of spiraling in this little bit of fear and uncertainty with that. And I finally just said, this is a couple months ago, I just said, you know what, God, I'm going to give it to you. And my desire is to sell it and get my return and not be in debt with that anymore. So that was my desire, and just guide and direct me of when. When is my window of opportunity? And I just had to leave it at that and stop getting into a fear with it. And last week, I got a phone call from my realtor saying, hey, the market has spiked. Do you want to sell? And I hadn't even called him. I was just kind of left it up to the universe and said, hey, let me know. And I thought, oh my gosh, that means I've got to move out of my house right away. It kind of stressed me out for a minute. And I said, let me think on it. And I was like, well, where am I going to go? I found a place, just down here right next to me that rents and doesn't have anybody in it. And I can go rent there for, several months as long as I need. And so I called him the next day. I said, let's list and sell. And so my condo is now up for sale. And I'm just so grateful. I wouldn't have known when and how. And so our hopes, aren't necessarily in a specific thing. Because I want to tell you, what if the market never, and I never got to sell and I lost my whole investment? Then what? Because I had to think of that too. I had to go to the worst case scenario. Then you know what? I'll figure it out. I'll be okay. So I want you to think of that. We can't control the outcome. In fact, that's an expectation. We can have hopes and desires and ask for guidance. But then when it comes down to it, what if you lost everything? What if you died? What if you died from COVID? Then what? Does that make sense? You're going to figure it out. You're going to be okay. And that's what hope is. And that's when you read Dr. Viktor Frankl, it's about being in a state where he had no control. He had no idea if he would die the next day, because they were literally taking people from, whoever was the weakest link from doing the labor, they were taking them and gassing them. And so he didn't know if he'd wake up and be taken to the gas chamber. How do you survive something like that? And this is what I want to end on. You choose. You choose to feel hope. You choose hope over the loss and the devastation. In his book, he talks about how he could see when someone started giving in to fear and how they spiraled down and how they just let go of even eating their, much. And so they just got so weak, and then they couldn't do manual labor, and then they basically created their own fate with it because they lost hope. So I want to end on that. There is so much to hope for. And even if it doesn't look like what you're used to, find get yourself in that space, use your oils, get yourself out of fear, whatever that looks like for you. Use your oils and get in a space where you can just feel hope, which means filling in a space of love so you can be guided what to do, and so you'll know that you'll be okay. And that's a mental thing versus, I do say, I think it's important to be prepared with food and water and getting out of debt, those types of things. Absolutely, but you'll be guided on that when you can stay in a space of love versus anger and division and all of these other things going on. And so I just am grateful to connect with all of you guys today. There are a lot of things I'm grateful for that's happened during these uncertain times. It has caused me to really reach inside myself and have a higher relationship with love, with God, and with my family. And so that's beautiful. What better way to shed some of our, busy, kind of worldly things and just get down to what matters. So find what you're grateful for in this situation, and that will bring you to the space that we need for unity and love and to make a difference. We're not going to make a difference by shouting and being angry and divisive and by being blaming. So let go of blame, let go of victimization, and you will be free. It's amazing. And I have to work on this on a consistent basis. It's a journey of life, and I want you to know that it is the best thing you could do is take full responsibility for your emotions, and it will free you from anything or anyone having an effect on you. So, all right, you guys, have a wonderful, wonderful day. Sending you lots of love and hope, and we will see you next time. Bye-bye.